Something is about to explode inside the Norris family, and episode 5 might be the moment where everything breaks. A deal that should never happen is now almost guaranteed. A betrayal is quietly forming behind Tommy's back, and someone we trusted may not survive the next 48 hours. Landman is no longer just about oil, money, or the Texas fight for power. This episode is shaping up to expose the darkest truth the series has ever teased. Episode 5 of Landman Season 2 is building pressure, like a storm that refuses to pass, and the trailer gave us just enough clues to feel uneasy. For the first time since the season started, Tommy is not the strongest man in the room. His emotions are raw, his family is slipping out of his grip, and the business he built brick by brick like a shield around himself is starting to crack open. What makes this even more terrifying is that Tommy senses the danger, but he cannot figure out where exactly the attack is coming from. And as we know, Tommy Norris is a man who can fight anyone except the shadows in his own life. The trailer opens with a small but chilling moment. Tommy staring at a document that should never have reached his hands. From the look on his face, it's clear that he's uncovered something that threatens everything. Not just a deal, but the future of his entire company. The tone here is sharp, tense, and deeply personal. Tommy has never looked this shaken, not even during the emotional events of the previous episodes. It's as if the past he tried to bury for decades has found a new way to attack him through the present. What the trailer suggests is that someone inside the circle has been working against him. And no, this is not a simple disagreement or a bad business move. This feels deliberate, calculated, almost like a betrayal that has been forming for a long time. If you look closely at Tommy in this moment, he's not angry, he's disappointed. And for a man like him, disappointment hurts more than rage. He built his life around loyalty after a childhood where loyalty never existed, and now that same trust is being weaponized against him. Meanwhile, Cammy is cornered in a way we have not seen before. Her voice in the trailer is unsteady, emotional, and almost desperate. You can feel the weight on her shoulders, the debt, the pressure, the expectations, the legacy of her late husband. She is running out of time and out of people she can depend on. And just like last episode, she is standing at a crossroads where every road leads to danger. On one side is Tommy, begging her to rethink her decisions. On the other side is Galliano, offering her everything she thinks she wants, but with a price she might not survive. Episode 5 hints at the terrifying possibility that Cammy may go behind Tommy's back again, not because she wants to, but because she feels she has no choice. Her desperation makes her vulnerable, and vulnerable people are exactly who Galliano knows how to control. The trailer plays her words quietly, but they hit like a punch. If I lose this deal, I lose everything. And that's the moment we realize she is not thinking clearly anymore. She is thinking like someone drowning, reaching for anything that floats. But the biggest emotional shock might come from Tommy's father. His health, which has been slowly declining all season, takes a worrying turn in episode 5. The trailer shows a brief glimpse of him struggling with something, his vision, his balance, or maybe even his memory. No one says it out loud, but the fear is there. They might be running out of time with him. And because of that fear, Tommy's stress becomes almost unbearable. He is trying to be a son, a father, a leader, and a protector all at once, and it is stretching him to a breaking point. The tension rises even further when Cooper's storyline pushes into dangerous territory. He wants to prove himself more than ever, especially now that Tommy keeps treating him like a kid who cannot handle responsibility. But Cooper's biggest flaw is that he believes bravery and recklessness are the same thing. And episode 5 seems ready to show him a lesson he is not prepared for. There is a scene in the trailer where Tommy yells at him with a kind of fear we have not heard from Tommy before. That tells us everything. Cooper is about to step into something way over his head. Every character in episode 5 is standing at the edge of something sharp. Every decision feels heavier. Every word feels like a warning, and every small moment carries a shadow behind it. And the most unsettling part? We still do not know who survives the coming storm. The trailer for episode 5 makes one thing painfully clear. Every thread in season 2 is tightening, and the moment they snap might change the entire direction of Landman. What makes this episode feel different is the silence beneath the chaos. The characters don't need to shout or fight for us to feel their fear. Their faces, their pauses, their hesitation. It all suggests that something heavy is coming. And it is moving faster than any of them can handle. One of the most disturbing moments teased in the trailer is Tommy's private meeting with Galliano. There's no loud confrontation, no slamming of fists on a table. Instead, the entire scene seems to be built on unspoken tension. Tommy walks in as a man ready to protect someone he cares about, but he quickly realizes the situation is far worse than he expected. Galliano isn't trying to negotiate a deal. He's playing a game, a psychological one, and he knows exactly which buttons to push. What stands out the most is the way Galliano looks at Tommy, almost as if he has already won. There's a cold satisfaction in his expression, like he's been waiting for this moment for a long time. And the moment Tommy sits down in that room, the power balance shifts. Tommy is still strong, still smart, but Galliano has something he doesn't: control over Cammy's future. And that gives him leverage no money or muscle can break. The trailer hints that Galliano's demands are more personal this time. He isn't just interested in investments or deals. He wants influence, access, and a long-term tie that would force the Norris family to rely on him, whether they want to or not. It's the kind of trap that looks like an opportunity, and Cammy is dangerously close to stepping right into it. The emotional weight of this storyline hits even harder when we see Cammy crying alone in her office. She tries to wipe her tears before anyone sees them, but the damage is already done. The trailer holds that shot just long enough to show us how exhausted she truly is. It feels like she has been fighting the world for so long that she no longer knows what peace looks like. Tommy wants to save her, but he is also terrified of losing her trust by pushing too hard. Meanwhile, the Norris household is walking on thin ice. Tommy's father keeps brushing off his symptoms, pretending everything is fine even when it clearly isn't. There's a moment where he places his hand on the wall to steady himself, hoping no one notices. But Tommy sees it, and the look on his face in that moment is heartbreaking, a mix of fear, guilt, and helplessness. Tommy spent his entire life trying to escape his traumatic past, and now life is forcing him to face another loss he cannot prevent. The trailer also gives us a deeper look at Cooper's decision-making spiral. He wants independence so badly that he is starting to ignore the warning signs around him. His scenes show him meeting someone new, someone who promises him quick success and big returns. But quick success in Landman usually means a hidden threat, and Cooper is too focused on proving himself to realize he's being played. What worries Tommy isn't that Cooper is making mistakes, it's that he is making them in the dark, behind closed doors, without telling anyone what he is planning. And this isn't just risky, it's dangerous. Tommy has always believed that loyalty is the backbone of survival. But in episode 5, the people he loves the most are drifting out of his reach. Cammy is torn between her fear and her ambition. Cooper is chasing validation instead of wisdom. His father is fading, refusing to slow down. And Tommy is carrying all of this on his shoulders while trying to keep the company alive. The trailer hints at a moment where Tommy finally loses his composure. He slams a door, breathes heavily, and for a second, his mask slips. This brief crack in his armor reveals the truth. Tommy is terrified. Not of a deal going wrong or a business falling apart, but of losing the people who matter to him. This is the same boy who once stood alone in his childhood home, confused by a mother who couldn't love him the way he needed. Now, as a grown man, he finds himself in a new version of that same loneliness. But the most chilling part of section 2 comes near the end. There's a line from Galliano that echoes through the trailer like a warning shot. Everyone breaks eventually, even him. We don't know who he's talking about. It could be Tommy. It could be Cammy. It could be someone else entirely. But that line confirms one thing. Galliano is planning something bigger than just a business move. He is preparing to strike in a way none of them expect. The air in episode 5 feels charged, unstable, and full of hidden danger. The characters are moving toward a point of no return, and the next step could determine who survives and who falls apart. If the first half of episode 5 builds tension like a slow burning fuse, the second half promises to light that fuse and blow open secrets the series has been teasing since the beginning of season 2. The trailer ends with a series of quick, unsettling shots that feel less like hints and more like warnings. You can sense that every storyline is pushing toward a single explosive collision point, and none of the characters are prepared for how violent that impact might be. One of the most haunting threads comes from Tommy's father. He has always been the quiet backbone of Tommy's life, steady, rough around the edges, and impossible to impress. But episode 5 shows us a man who is beginning to lose control of his body, even though his pride refuses to admit it. There is a brief but emotional moment in the trailer where Tommy tries to help him walk, and his father snaps, "I said I'm fine." It hits like a punch because it's not anger, it's fear. Fear of becoming a burden. Fear of losing independence. Fear of time running out. The heartbreaking truth is that Tommy has never known how to save the people he loves. He could protect an entire oil empire, but he could never fix his mother, and now he may not be able to save his father. This emotional weight follows him through the entire episode, pushing him into a darker, more desperate version of himself. And what makes this even more tragic is that Tommy is still expected to carry the business, the family, and everyone's safety without letting anyone see how close he is to breaking. That personal pressure explains why Tommy reacts so violently to the threat Galliano now poses. The trailer ends with Tommy confronting someone behind closed doors. We can't see who it is, but we can hear the fury in Tommy's voice. This isn't the usual cold, sharp anger we've seen before. This is personal, heavy, almost dangerous. It suggests that whatever betrayal Tommy discovered earlier in the episode becomes undeniable by the end. And the betrayal isn't coming from the outside. It's coming from someone close enough to wound him. Which brings us back to Cammy. Her storyline in episode 5 is peeled open layer by layer until we finally see the truth she's been avoiding. She is not just desperate. She is scared. Scared of failing her company. Scared of disappointing those who depend on her. Scared of losing the last connection she has to her husband. That fear makes her vulnerable to Galliano's manipulation, and by the end of the trailer, it's obvious she has already given him something she can't take back. We hear Galliano say, "You're doing the right thing." But the way Cammy looks down, unable to hold eye contact, tells us she isn't sure at all. She is standing on the edge of a cliff, pretending she isn't afraid of falling. And the worst part? Tommy doesn't know what she has agreed to yet. When he does, it might shatter their entire partnership. Cooper's arc also reaches a dangerous peak in this episode. For the first time, he finds himself in a situation he cannot charm his way out of. Someone offers him an opportunity that sounds too big to refuse. Money, power, independence, everything he has been chasing. But the trailer shows his face the moment he realizes something is wrong. The smile drops. The confidence disappears. And suddenly, he's just a young man who trusted the wrong person. This could be the moment that breaks him, or the moment that forces him to grow up faster than he ever wanted to. And if the quick flashes in the trailer are accurate, his mistake will not only endanger him but drag Tommy into the crossfire. This is where the storylines begin to overlap in a frightening way. Tommy goes to protect Cammy. Cooper goes to prove himself. Galliano moves to tighten his grip. And Tommy's father becomes more fragile by the hour. By the end of episode 5, every character is pulled into a web that no one can escape from alone. What makes this episode feel truly unpredictable is the sense that Landman is preparing for something big, something the fans aren't ready for. The tone of the trailer is darker, heavier, and more intimate than anything we've seen so far. It's not just about oil or land deals anymore. It's about survival. It's about betrayal. It's about whether the Norris family can hold together when everything around them is falling apart. The final moments of the trailer are the most chilling, a gunshot echoing in the distance, a car door slamming, someone shouting Tommy's name, and then silence. We don't know who fired the shot. We don't know who was hit. We don't know who was watching. But one thing is clear. Episode 5 will end with a moment so shocking that it might set the stage for the biggest twist of the entire season. A twist that changes alliances exposes lies, and forces every character to face the truth they've been avoiding. And if the trailer is telling the truth, the storm coming for the Norris family is only getting started.